is we're doing run them. And if you guys were here last week, then I went through the 4 stages of like, getting started in self-storage investing. That's what I did. And so what I'm going to do, since we're talking about run them this time, is I'm going to take you through like some of the stages, the 3 stages of like, getting, owning a facility. That's what we're going to do today. Okay. So now, thank you. I see a lot of you guys hopping on. So there's Troy, Michigan, Kentucky, Pittsburgh. I appreciate it. Luke and Terry. I appreciate you guys listening and introduce yourself. And make sure you introduce yourself in the Facebook group too. Let me know that you're listening. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just quickly go over the 4 stages, and then we're going to move on to like management stuff is what we're going to do today. Okay. So and the management, there's like a whole module of management in the course too as well. Well, actually, you know what I want to say? I want to say too that like a lot of people, when you're thinking about like how to get started in self-storage investing, all they think about is like, how do I find them and how do I fund them? That's really kind of what they're thinking. Like, how do you buy them? How do you know how do you know if it's a good deal? How do you find these things, right? Finding them is easy. I mean, they're just like storage facilities, right? But, how do you know if it's a good deal? And then how do you find the money to buy them, right? But the truth is all that is really like stage 1. All right. Stage 1 is getting a facility under contract. And the truth is that when you buy a storage facility, you are buying a business. It is an investment. Like in a tax perspective, it's an investment property, which is awesome, right? Because you get all those tax benefits. But the truth is that you're buying a retail business. And so you have to be good at managing your facility. When you buy storage facilities, you become asset managers. That's what it is. You're an asset manager. You're not even a property manager. You're an asset manager, right? So, so you have to really, like, a lot of people, I'm telling you, when I talk to people, they do not think about the management side. But the truth is the management portion of owning a facility is the most important part, because you have to run a business. And, you have to understand how to run a business properly, right? You have to think about how you're going to increase your income and decrease your expenses, right? Your NOI is like super important, but like, so are your expenses and your mortgage and stuff. And it all kind of flows together. So, I just want to keep that in mind. I know a lot of people here are thinking, I want to learn how to find them and fund them, right? But the truth is, what I'm going to teach you today is kind of like the most important part, right? Okay, all right, so actually, you know what? I think I gotta turn this on. Maybe that works. Oh, duh, I need to click this. That's what I need to do. Okay, there it goes. Let me make sure this is on the thickest one. Yeah, okay. Stages. Okay, that is way too thick. Oh my gosh. Is that too thick? All right. Let's do this. Stages. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Okay. All right. So remember, you've got it like, it looks like this, right? Okay. Obviously. All right. Stage 1 is getting your facility under contract. And this is what we went over last time. And this is what I go over in like, the first week, the second week of every month. Okay. What do you need to do in order to get the facility under contract? This also in the course is like modules 1 through 3. Okay, so lots of videos in there if you need some help on this. Okay. And then in stage, so now we've got it under contract is where we're going to start our lessons today. Okay. So stage 2, we've got it under contract, and the question is now what do we do, right? Okay, and I talked about this. There's 2 aspects to stage 2. If anybody remembers, put it into the chat. All right, if you were here last time. The two main stages are funding. Right, so you got it under contract, And in commercial real estate, like I would say, you don't really go and get pre-approved. Now, like you could go to like your bank and say, hey, I want to buy a storage facility. What do you think? And they could kind of sort of pre-approve you. But the truth is like commercial lending is asset-based lending. Commercial lending is asset-based lending. It's all based on like how much the property is going to be making. All right. So, so funding really happens in stage 2. I'm not going to get into funding because we're not talking about that this week, right? We're talking about management. But the second part of stage 2 is the onboarding stage, the onboarding. I really like how this is looking, man. It's like super clear, right? I'm not sure what I did, but I got this like really nice. That's cool. Okay. So we're going to talk about onboarding today. All right, that's what we're going to talk about. And then onboarding is this is the goal. The goal of onboarding is when I close on this facility, how do I take payments? All right, so obviously, like I said, you're buying a business, right? So, you want to be able to take payments as soon as you close on your facility. And believe me, when I first started out, like nobody about that at all. Nobody told me, right? So like I was so excited I was buying a storage facility. And we went to the closing, and then at the close, I did nothing up till the closing. Okay. And then at the closing, like the owner, gave me like this big, like stack of just like, manila folders with like, contracts and stuff. And I was like, all right, time to get to it, And at the same time, like, the owner was like, people would call him and they'd be like, you got to call Stacy. She's the new owner. Like, just give my phone number out. And it was just like utter chaos. We had not done anything to onboard our facility, done nothing, right? And so I don't want you to go through that. I want you to be like on closing day, I want you to be prepared to just get this thing up and going as fast as you possibly can. Because it took us like 6 months, because it does take a couple of months to onboard your facility. And it took us a good like 6 months to really kind of not stabilize it, to just even get it to where we were like managing it normal, right? But the truth is like if you onboard it, if you pre-board it or onboard it before you close, then you're not as stressed out, right? As you would be otherwise. Okay. Okay, and then stage 3. So now you've onboarded. We've been through these two. Now you've onboarded your facility. You've done everything that you possibly could to be ready to take payments, right? On day 1 of closing, and or the first week of closing, doesn't be day 1, but the first week of closing, right? Now stage 3 is what we call transfer ownership. The transfer ownership stage. Transfer ownership. I'm trying to really I'm trying to write normal too. And then I'm going to try this and see if it works. Right. I wonder how I do that. You're supposed to be able to like click on this and then it like becomes I'm still trying to figure this thing out, so just bear with me. But you're supposed to be able to click on it and it becomes like actual text. But I'm trying to write neat for y'all because I have horrible handwriting. I'm gonna figure this board out. This is only like this like the 3rd week I've had it. Okay. So transfer ownership means, right? So you have to, you are now getting all of your tenants into your software, right? And you're basically, transfer ownership really means like you're chasing tenants. That's really what it means. Now, obviously, if you're buying a facility and there's like no tenants, then this is not going to take that long of a time, right? So I have a student right now. She's buying a facility and in California, and there's no tenant. So like she still has to onboard everything. She has to do all the onboarding. But when they transfer the ownership over, or when they transfer ownership over, then essentially she just has to start like marketing and stuff, right? Which brings me to stage 4. Right, so now you've transferred the ownership. And also another thing too is this typically takes like 90 to 120 days. Okay, so like onboarding, I mean, onboarding takes the same amount of time. It takes a long time to onboard. People don't realize how much work it is to onboard a facility. And a lot of people, they don't end up doing all of it until after they close. But you know, 90, this stage right here is about 90 to 120 days. Now that's really the same amount of time that it would take to fund it. So if you actually funded it. Now, owner financing, if you pay cash, you can close whenever you want, right? But if you're owner financing, typically you're closing in like 60 to 90 days. All right. But then if you're going to a bank, especially nowadays, like to close in 90 days is really hard. And I know because we're funding one of our deals right now through a bank. And, you know, they just keep pushing the date out. Even though they say, oh, yeah, we can close in 30 days or 45 days, they just keep pushing it out. And the truth is like, give yourself 3 months at least minimum on this stage, because it just takes a lot of time and effort to close a facility. It just really does. Commercial real estate just takes a lot of time. It just does. Okay. And then the transfer ownership phase as well, too, is typically about 90 to 120 days. Right. I mean, this is really like you're getting all of your you know, your tenants into your software and trying to really get the basics of your software set up. That's really what this is. And it just takes, especially when you have a brand new software, it just takes like there's a learning curve to figuring it out, right? And you know, it takes time and effort. So just give yourself some time to do this as well, too. Okay. And then, so now after a couple of months of like getting everybody into the system, trying to get everything all up and running, you're like, okay, let me start really like automating and systematizing, right? Automating and systematizing. And also under this is marketing. Okay. And, you know, really marketing for tenants. How do you get new tenants? Okay, you can see this. Yeah, I'm blocking that. Okay, good. Okay, so automating and systems is stage 4. Okay, you see how these stages go right here? This is the cycle of self-storage investing right here. Okay, now, you know, obviously, if you're going to be buying like $10 million facilities, you know, the stages might be a little bit different, you know, but actually it's kind of the same, honestly. It's kind of the same. This is the good outline of it. This is the cycles of investing in self-storage. And when you're in this stage 4 right now, you're really working on kind of getting your facility up and running, automated, and you really want to make this is where you make it like passive income. This is where you make it passive income, because you're really going to get in there and automate everything, right? Is the stage 4. So this one to me is the most important stage of all the stages, really, as how passive can you make your facility? And so spend some time here getting this up and running. Okay. And now, like after a couple of months of really kind of getting in there, now you can see here, like you're 90 to 120 days, right? You're in each of these. This is 9. This is also, so this is like 4 quarters. This is a year, right? So like storage investing is like slow and steady wins the race, right? Now, I've had students buy like, you know, 2-3 facilities in a year. And I'm telling you, everybody that's bought more than one facility that I've talked to, they've said like, we bit off way more than we could chew. You know, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with buying more facilities. I mean, but you know, the truth is if you could really get in there and really kind of learn these stages, you know, and really kind of set the foundations of your business off. Year one, you're buying 1, and then year 2, you could buy 2, and year 3, you could buy 3, and year 4, you could buy 4. This is how we did it. All right, so slow and steady wins the race. We're buying 1 a quarter now. And just think about if you were buying 1 a quarter of these, you would have to have your finding down. You would have to have your funding down. What do you think I'm doing? I'm pitching and pitching. In fact, you guys can always hop on my pitch. If you want to give me some money, I have a fund. I'm raising money. Just go to stacyrossetti.com/fund. I'm trying to raise money. I got another deal under contract this past week. Okay, so but under contract, you know, we have that down. I can find deals for sure, right? Funding, always raising money. No matter what, you should be always raising money. And onboarding takes 90 days. And then you close on it 90 days. And then automating and systematizing it 90 days, right? And then you just like, you're like a machine. You're just moving one deal to the next deal, one deal to the next stage. And so that's like me and my husband, we had a meeting today. We were sitting and discussing this. And it's like, that's what we're doing. And internally, we have one person that solely works on onboarding. That is her job. Is as soon as we get this under contract, Christy, she has a plan where she has a system where she's onboarding that facility and getting everything that she needs to get done. And then Jim, he works on transfer ownership, right? So once we close on that facility, he's making sure all this gets done. And then Bonnie, who's been working with us for like 7 years, she really kind of manages all this, is what she does. Stage 4. And she's like, this is like the management part, right? This is management. Okay. So, so we have we have virtual systems that do this. We have, our in-house people that are doing this. That's how it is for us. So it's really like a machine. And we are working very hard to make this machine awesome. Okay.